Hey, it's J-Dog here. You're watching the first Man Eats Wild. Now, I don't know about you guys, but nothing gets me as excited about cooking as when I'm doing it with something that I hunted or fished myself. There's just something about bringing it full circle, from planning the trip, then being out in the field and bringing that bounty home, and making a fantastic meal that puts smiles on your friends and family's face. Now, I know there's a lot of guys that are intimidated about cooking the wild game because it doesn't always turn out like the stuff that you make at the store. But that's okay, because when you learn how to do it right and you learn the tips and tricks that you need to make the wild game turn out right, it's even better than what you get at the store, because every bite has an adventure in it. So you guys don't have to be intimidated. You're not going to have to let that wild game go to waste in the freezer anymore, because you're going to subscribe to the Man Eats Wild channel on YouTube. And your wild game meals, they're going to go from redneck to rockstar. I'm going to help you out. We're going to keep it simple, and every meal is going to be an adventure. So let's get started here. Before we get started, I want to let you know that we're going to do an email segment every show, and you guys can send emails to maneatswild@yahoo.com, and I'll try to answer them. Maybe a tip for the show, or something you'd like to see we come up with a recipe for. Any questions? Maybe we'll read it on the show. We got one already. Got an email here already. First show, hasn't even aired yet. So that's how popular we are. People know about it before it even happens. Right on. All right, we'll read here. Dear J-Dog, do you have any stir-fry recipes for Sasquatch meat? Sincerely, John W., Tacoma, Washington. Well, John W., that's really hilarious. Enjoyed that, because everybody knows that Sasquatch meat has to be slow cooked. You can't stir-fry, dude. Duh. All right. Let's get on to what we're doing today. Recipe here. We're going to do wild turkey grilled skewers. So, before I get started, it reminds me that we're going to use the wild turkey breast, one big one, or if you get a small one, you might use both of them. But I know a lot of you guys, you really like the breasts, but you're not really into the thighs and legs. Dude, if you're not into the thighs and legs, you're really missing out. So you need to save those, and we'll tackle that in another show, because the thighs and legs is really where it's at. And yeah, I'm still talking about wild turkey. So save those, put them in the freezer. We're going to tackle that in a later show. Alright, so let's get to it. First thing we're going to do is make our marinade here. Well, before we get started, let me tell you what all you're going to need. You're going to need some olive oil, salt, a little crushed red pepper if you like it, paprika, ground ginger, a little garlic powder, and let me grab real quick here. You're going to need a couple ginger ales. These are important. Now, I don't know if you can see those there. Those are Reed's ginger ales, one of the best there is. I guess you could use the stuff in a can if you want. You could probably find some turkey in a can too. So that wouldn't be very cool, would it? Well, go ahead. Reed's ginger ale is about the best. You want that? You want them ice cold. Why do you want them ice cold? Because one of them you need to drink while you're doing it. Delicious. Okay. So we're going to make the marinade first. First things first, a little olive oil. I'm going to put a half a cup in there. Turn around to the American side there. None of that metric stuff. Alright. Half a cup of olive oil goes in there. And we're going to do the same with the ginger ale. Half a cup. And then you save this, we're going to make basting sauce. For afterwards. Alright, so we got a half cup ginger ale, half cup olive oil. And we're going to throw in 1 teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon ground ginger, teaspoon garlic powder. For a little fun, let's throw in some crushed red pepper flakes. This still looks right. let's see, let's throw in a teaspoon of sea salt also. Thereabouts. Looks good. What else we need here? Let's throw in some black pepper. Just put it right in there. Alright. Those out of the way. One more thing you're going to need. We're not going to need it yet, but we will soon, is some pepper jelly. What we got here is Das Jam Shop, whatever that is. Jalapeno peach. This is one of my favorites, but get whatever kind you can get, whatever you like. Alright. Alright, so then also in there we're going to put 2 jalapenos. Slice them up. Now if you don't like jalapenos, they're too hot for you, then get whatever kind of pepper you like. For those of us that are wimps, we'll use jalapeno. And you want to make sure and leave them in whole slices. We're going to use them later. They're going to marinate with the meat. Alright, that was good. Alright, we're going to stir this around. Looks delicious already. Alright, we're going to leave that there. Now let's get on to the turkey. Turkey breast here, and what we're going to do is we're going to slice it cross grain into slices that are about 3/8 of an inch thick. Now they don't have to be perfect. We're going to pound them out with a meat hammer afterwards. But what you want to make sure is you don't leave any fat or gristle. You want to go ahead and make sure all that's trimmed off. Any membranes that are in there or muscle segments. Make sure you trim all that out as well, because that'll make the eating experience not nearly so nice. So we're going to slice this cross grain. About 3/8 of an inch thick. Let's go ahead and slice this along the little membrane that's there and take that out. Skin that off there. Beautiful right there. Alright, cross grain. Doesn't matter how big the pieces are. I'll show you why later. And we're putting them on the skewer. Alright, finishing this up here. 3/8 inch slices. Alright, we got these sliced up here. Now what we're going to do is take your meat hammer and we're going to pound these out. Just pound each one. So you'll feel the fibers in the muscle start to give away. I like to do one side, flip it over. Going. That one's so big, I'm going to slice it up. Alright, and into the marinade it goes. Just keep going. Pound each one out. It's best to do this when the wife is away. She doesn't freak out about you splattering the meat all over the kitchen. Alright, and that's the last piece. Put it in the marinade. See, we'll wash up here. grab a spatula. Alright, we're going to stir this marinade around. Let's get that out of there. Stir it around, get the peppers mixed up. Alright, once you got it all mixed up, we're just going to put it in the fridge. You can let it marinate for a couple hours or overnight. In this case, we're going to do it overnight. Alright, we're going to let those marinate overnight. But before we're done, we're going to make the basting sauce. So we'll do that here real quick, and that way that'll be ready to go and we can clean up all the stuff. You're going to need equal parts olive oil, ginger ale, pepper jelly. So I would say we're only going to need about a quarter of a cup of each. You don't have to be scientific, just get it close. So we'll throw that in there. A little bit more. We'll call that good. There's a quarter cup of that. Quarter cup ginger ale. And maybe slightly less of the olive oil. We'll throw that in there. Alright, let's stir that up. That's going to make a nice basting sauce. It's going to make a sticky, sweet glaze. Put a perfect char on there. Alright. When we've got that all mixed up, we'll go and put this in the fridge and it'll be ready for the grill tomorrow. Alright, I got them marinated overnight, and so now we're going to put them on some skewers. Get them ready for the grill. And this is why it doesn't really matter how big of pieces you end up with, because we're just going to feed them on there. Just mash them all together. After you put a little bit on there, put you one of these peppers on there. Kind of give it a little spice. Just keep feeding it on there. No perfect way. Snake it on there. Alright, that looks good. Let's do another one. Feed this on here. And I forgot to mention when we were making the marinade and the basting sauce, the reason we put the olive oil in there is because wild meat's so lean. You always want to try to introduce some kind of fat to it whenever possible. Alright, finishing up the last one here. Just weaving the meat on there, no particular way. Alright, we get washed up, we'll take them to the grill. Alright, got the grill nice and hot, and that's always important with wild meat because you want to get a good sear on it, and the sear helps keep the moisture in. So you don't want to overcook or dry out wild game. That's the #1 mistake most people make. So let's get them on the grill here. Ooh, dog. Shut it down. All right, I forgot to mention that having all that olive oil on there can flame up on the grill, so be careful with that. Ooh. Need some longer tongs. All right, let's go ahead and get the basting sauce on there. All right, every time I flip them, I'm gonna go ahead and baste them again. All right, these bad boys are looking done. Looking beautiful. Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna pull these off here, let them rest for a few minutes, and we're gonna chow down. All right, man, these look awesome. Got them off the grill. One thing is I forgot to soak the skewers because we were in a hurry and they got charred, but that's all right. It's gonna taste great nonetheless. So I'm gonna pull it off the skewer here. Now you could serve this as an appetizer. You could serve it over a salad or with a salad, or you could just make it the main course. Well, let's give it a try here. If I can pepper with it. Oh man, that's awesome. Got the sweet and the spicy. It's tender. I could eat a whole bunch of those. That's good. The best part is, it makes me remember that morning again when I got to shoot that big old gobbler. Now that's eating wild. See you next time. Man Eats Wild channel, YouTube.